Welcome to my basement, everybody. How's it going? I hope you can hear me okay, and happy Monday to you. I've been super busy today. Holy crap. I thought, okay, what am I going to do with these gift guides? Why don't I do them live, and we can kind of chat about some of my choices. But yeah, I put some prep into this, so it took me a big chunk of time today, and so apologies for being a little bit late, but hope everybody's doing well. We're sort of entering into big-time holiday season. You know, when I'm talking about gift guides, we are ramping up close to the holidays. We put up our Christmas tree in our house yesterday and strung some lights, and my kid was very happy about that. I hope you're starting to kind of get into the holiday spirit in this crazy, ridiculous, kind of awful and tragic year in many ways, but at least amongst our group, we know how to decompress and have some fun and escape into video game entertainment for a little while. Hopefully I'm sounding all right. You guys will tell me, and I'll try to follow along with the chat. And speaking of which, Blair Farrell, #1 in the chat room. It's good to see everybody here. Good to see you. Marco A is here. Mike Williams, Jordan Cunningham, Hip Hop Dan, Trevor Leahy. Hi. We've got Sam I Am 111. Hey, EP, pathetic earthling, thought I was late, but I'm not. I was a little late today, yes. I tried to hit that 3 o'clock start time as quickly as I can, as often as I can. Just watched the Insert Coin Vic's Basement. That was really something amazing to see everyone from Midway together like that. Thank you, Sam I Am 111. Josh reached out because the release date was coming up for his film, and I thought, you know what would be amazing is if we could get a couple of the interview subjects that you have from Midway into a podcast collection like that, and they all agreed, and it was wonderful, and definitely going to be doing a lot more stuff like that for sure. Robert Bartell, reminder, like if you haven't and feel it's appropriate. Thank you, Robert Bartell. That's awesome. You know what I forgot was the damn Discord link. I didn't log in. I'm so freaking busy trying to keep up with everything. I didn't log into Discord to grab that, to share it with everything. But I promise you today I will do that. Nick Seabright is here, and Grover Monster. I just watched Grover talking on a viral YouTube video, I think, just a day or two ago. How much in Canada? Mr. Mass-Produced 201. I don't know. EP's free. Enjoy. If you've got YouTube, you're here. We are going to get started with our rundown. I've got 3 stories. Everything has come in a little bit hot, though. Okay, so you can do some real-time fact-checking with me. But we're gonna get into this right now. I'm just gonna scroll down a little bit. Wow, there's a lot of you folks in here. Zhang Fei 500, good to see you. Louis Arias is here. Hi there is here. This is a show. We got everybody here. This is awesome. And we're going to play a little Tetris and Puyo Puyo a little bit later on today, too. Okay, so let's get started with the rundown. And today, the rundown is dedicated to our own Blair Farrell. Here's your rundown, buddy. All right, I know a lot of people are looking for the PlayStation 5 right now, but CEO of PlayStation, Jim Ryan, has been in the news talking about how this... There's a lot of speculation that this was planned scarcity, that the demand for this machine was going to be something that would fuel expectation and anticipation for this device and hype everybody up even more than they already are. But I think the truth of it is that the mechanics to get as many made as people want at launch is just not there. And PlayStation was reminding us about this right from the get-go, but Jim Ryan now is being interviewed, and I saw something, I think, on Games Radar talking about the Russian market, basically saying that everything is sold out and sold into the marketplace. And obviously there's a lot of scalpers. We saw that in Toronto, people were just flat out stealing consoles off of scalpers that were trying to make quick sales off of eBay and Craigslist and stuff like that. So there's some hostility and anger, I think, some understandable hostility and anger, but don't steal stuff off of people. Don't be a scumbag. But PlayStation 5 is a hot ticket item. It's a very hard thing to find right now, and I don't know if that's going to carry all the way through the holiday season. You know, obviously retailers, online retailers, I don't know how many brick and mortar stores are opening to allow people to come in and buy these things. But, you know, clearly a lot of people still want to pick up the PlayStation 5, and Sony is very aware of that. The buzz on the machine is pretty damn solid. I'm loving playing games on mine. And I feel bad for people that really want it but haven't been able to get it. And I have to tell you guys, like, I am really connected throughout the video game industry because I've been doing this for so long. But even on my Facebook friends list, I see people that have been making games and work in the industry, might even work at Sony, all expressing frustration that these are very hard to come by. But hopefully that starts to kind of even out a little bit after the holidays. And I got to tell you, like, today I prepared some stuff to talk about the PlayStation 2020 sort of gift guide, and there is a ton of incredible stuff. If you've got a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 4 Pro, you are still going to be gaming like crazy, and there are still great gifts to get people that have the sort of last gen console, or the quickly becoming the last gen of consoles. It's still very current, the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro. So hopefully all of the shenanigans around the PlayStation 5 start to kind of even out for people, and it becomes a lot easier. But I also think we have to, I had people in the news asking me if PlayStation and Xbox were actually going to make their launch dates this year. We're actually going to ship this year, because there was a lot of confusion and guesswork around this right up to the time that these guys were like putting out their ads saying, yep, it's coming. Remember how long we waited just to see these consoles, and particularly the PlayStation 5? So there has been a lot of work behind the scenes to get these things made, to get these things shipped all over the world. And it'll be interesting to kind of find out exactly what the launch numbers were and what these install bases are. I don't think they're that high. And it's not like Xbox isn't also going through a lot of delivery issues, and there's a lot of news out there. Phil Spencer's been out there saying that people can expect Xbox delays right up until spring 2021. It was a tough launch this year, and credit has to go to both Microsoft and Sony that they made these launches and they got us these machines. But yes, it would have been great if there were more available and less angry customers out there, because the pre-orders were a nightmare for both of the machines, and there's still a lot of fist waving that's going on out there. Would love to hear from you guys if you were able to pick up a PlayStation 5, if you could afford it this year, if you made your pre-order, if you have, or if you're still trying, and maybe you've got some wisdom or some advice for people out there. Scarce Crazy AC says he managed to get a new GPU at retail in Ottawa, so I wasn't going to go buy the new consoles anyway, since my rig outpaces them. There you go. The NVIDIA was the other nightmare this year. And the other one on a totally different scale was the Analog Pocket, which sold out in like 10 seconds, which was crazy. Zhang Face 500 says, nah, I tried, but Walmart crashed right as I hit the order. Hip Hop Tan got his. Free Strike 5 says, hey. I got lucky and was on Twitter when pre-orders went live. That's from Tunde Abimbola, which is awesome. I'm more interested in building a new PC. I think I'll wait for the PS5 Slim. Let's see. I did get a DualSense to play with, though. Scar's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of stories like that. Okay, the other story is very interesting, and this is courtesy of a YouTuber. I want to make sure I get the right person credited. You guys can, correct me if I'm wrong here, because you know how things spread all over the internet. But I think a YouTuber named Stack Smashing has figured out how to get Doom running on the Nintendo Game & Watch, and this is all over the place. You can see Spawn Waves. He's talking about the Nintendo Game & Watch, but I saw that Spawn Wave had a story about Doom running on this thing. So this is cruising through the internet like wildfire right now. We obviously have been wanting to see Doom on this little tiny platform. And, people are starting to hack this thing. That's what's happened. And so people are, side-loading different kinds of apps. But the fact that this guy's got Doom running on this Game & Watch is just surreal. Obviously, it's very, very limited. But there is a little tiny computer in there there. We've seen Doom running on pregnancy tests and watches and all kinds of stuff right now, which is kind of crazy. It's likely going to get hacked some more, and there's going to be some interesting software that people are going to be playing on the Nintendo Game & Watch. The other thing that's somewhat in the same wheelhouse is I've seen on the internet too that the Xbox Series X has, when you go into developer mode with the Series X or S, you can actually put on RetroArch into the software, and then you're able to play Dreamcast games and GameCube games and a whole bunch of the classic emulated software out there, which is surreal. And the processors on the new Xbox consoles are so capable that the software is running terrific, and it just really, like, when I hear something like that, I just want Xbox to go the whole hog and make a deal. And they're not going to do a deal with Sony or PlayStation, but they could with Sega and maybe Neo Geo. It would be amazing if you could drop one of the discs in from these classic machines, connect to the internet, and then you're able to play some of this classic software on the Xbox Series X. It would be amazing to throw in a Dreamcast or a Saturn or a Sega CD game. I've been saying that for months. And who knows if Xbox and Sega do that much prophesized, much rumored partnership or relationship or acquisition, maybe that's exactly what we're going to get. But clearly, these consoles are both very, very powerful, and they can run a lot of stuff. And the other thing that it also is kind of part and parcel with this discussion is the fact that Sony is saying that they're, to stand by because they are clearly aware of how successful Game Pass has been for Xbox, and they are going to have an answer for what Microsoft has been providing for its customers. And I don't know if anybody's checked into Game Pass recently, but the EA Play content is in there as well. So there's like this whole other massive category of EA games that you can now play. A lot of them are like classic 360 titles. I talked about Fight Night Champion was on there, and the 360 SSX is on there, and there's a bunch of other games as well. I think Titanfall is on there as well. I don't know if Titanfall 2 is, but Xbox Game Pass gets better and better, and all of these developer acquisitions that Microsoft has been making means that incredible days are ahead for what Game Pass is going to mean. And of course, Sony has PlayStation Now, and it's not bad. I mean, the thing about PlayStation Now, because they're obviously they're adding more of their first party on there, they're not day and date like Game Pass is. Game Pass, you get the first-party exclusive stuff that, well, it's not exclusive, but the first-party stuff that Microsoft publishes, you get that on Game Pass. With PlayStation Now, it's sort of back catalog, but their first party is also included in all of that. And there are lots of big titles. Plus, they go back into their library and they play a lot of PlayStation 1, PS2. Some of them you have to stream, but some you can download. So they've started to move in this direction. And the other thing that they've done, which has been pretty strong, is obviously they want to monetize the online services that they provide. So PlayStation Plus became their platform to do that. And they also gave all kinds of bonus gifts every month for people that were subscribers. And PlayStation 5 owners got the PlayStation Plus collection of fantastic PS4 games, including Monster Hunter World and God of War, some like really essential software, Final Fantasy 15, all of which you can play on your PlayStation 5 the minute that you boot it up. They're basically in your library, and you can download all of these games. The Ratchet and Clank remake, the Days Gone, which gets all enhanced on a lot of these titles get enhanced on the PlayStation 5, which is pretty damn cool. So Sony is clearly thinking about subscriptions and, you having a catalog that you can jump into and can start playing right away. And they're also kind of testing the waters with streaming, although the streaming that I've done on PlayStation Now has not been that impressive. I checked out Stadia on the last episode of Vic's Basement Live that we did, which was on Thursday, and man, was I impressed. I ran an HDMI cable out of my laptop, and we were streaming the show while I was playing and streaming the games, and they looked amazing. So I clearly need to do the same kind of thing with PlayStation Now, and I promise you that I will. But both PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus, and it gets confusing, right? Because there's Xbox Live and then Xbox Gamer. Xbox and Sony and Nintendo all need to offer a library online service under one brand. So you're not stacking all kinds of things. And I think, a fair price is $15 a month max Canadian. So maybe $12 a month American. And so you get all your online stuff and you get a library of games. And Nintendo needs to beef theirs up to be competitive. And hopefully that's going to be a part of their strategy with whatever the next Switch is going to be. But there should be some parity there. And clearly, I've been saying this for months, but it's going to be incredibly and increasingly more important for these console companies, these silos of video game entertainment to have those subscribers and to have the sort of monthly income that they can then apply to investment and to new game creation and then value back to the consumer. And it's important, I think, also when you really look at the established collections and the libraries that each of these titles have, especially moving forward, right? So hopefully there is going to be a little bit more parity. I think Xbox has been leading the charge. Frankly, they've done less with their first party development up till now than we would all hope for. But one thing that they have been leading the charge with is Game Pass and offering that monthly subscriber a tremendous amount of value for the money. And so hopefully everybody else kind of hits there as well. And I think about this with Nintendo all the time. Like, it's amazing that we have some SNES games and some NES games if you pay for the Nintendo Online. That's amazing. But I think people would pay more for a broader kind of depth, for a bigger library, especially if Nintendo worked with Konami and Capcom and some of the other companies out there that made all of these awesome licensed games that are completely obliviated and lost to the ether because of the deals that have to be remade. But if Nintendo could do that, it would be incredible. But also if they added Nintendo 64 and GameCube software as part of that offering, that would really impress everybody. Oops, I pressed my mouse. Okay, so we're doing it live. Interesting. It's nice to hear. I think this was Jim Ryan that was quoted again too about stay tuned for whatever PlayStation's going to respond with. But I think it's pretty cool that it's the console wars, it's the streaming platform wars, it's the VR wars, and then pretty soon it is going to be the subscription to the online catalog wars, and there's going to be a lot of overlap. That's what Amazon is going to be all about too. You're going to stream it, and it's going to be a big catalog. Stadia is probably working towards that. Apple Arcade is you subscribe to a big catalog, but you don't stream them. So we're definitely etching and edging towards some very interesting times here. But it's cool. I'm glad that Sony's playing in that same sort of play field, And also, Xbox has been purchasing all these companies, and it's going to be interesting to see those companies all bear fruit. Okay, we're going to get into our PlayStation gift guide in a second, and we'll catch up a little bit on the chat here. But right now, it's time for This Day in Everything Cool. Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for November 23rd. On this day in 2004, Blizzard took over the entire world of Warcraft. The massively multiplayer online game World of Warcraft launched in North America and Australia and found its way into other territories a few months later. The game was first announced back in 2001 before the release of its predecessor, Warcraft 3. They came up inspired by the popularity of the multiplayer in the previous Warcraft games, as well as their other big franchises, Diablo and StarCraft. Blizzard's idea was to create a vast online world where players players could interact with each other and go on missions with more freedom than what you would get from just adding multiplayer to a single-player game. This forced them to rethink the traditional Warcraft style of gameplay. Rather than being a top-down RTS game, World of Warcraft was a third-person experience with vast 3D worlds and numerous locations to explore. Blizzard also wanted to make sure the game would have a long lifespan. Rather than releasing a few big expansions and then moving on, they instead planned to create a steady stream of smaller updates. But right now we're going to play This Day in Everything Cool. Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for November 23rd. On this day in 2004, Blizzard took over the entire world of Warcraft. The massively multiplayer online game, World of Warcraft, launched in North America and Australia and found its way into other territories a few months later. The game was first announced back in 2001 before the release of its predecessor, Warcraft 3. Inspired by the popularity of the multiplayer in the previous Warcraft games, as well as their other big franchises, Diablo and StarCraft, Blizzard's idea was to create a vast online world where players could interact with each other and go on missions with more freedom than what you would get from just adding multiplayer to a single-player game. This forced them to rethink the traditional Warcraft style of gameplay. Rather than being a top-down RTS game, World of Warcraft was a third-person experience with vast 3D worlds and numerous locations to explore. Blizzard also wanted to make sure the game would have a long lifespan. Rather than releasing a few big expansions and then moving on, they instead planned to create a steady stream of smaller updates and new content with large expansions every few years. This meant that the game would use a risky subscription model, forcing players to fork over a monthly fee in order to keep playing. Luckily for Blizzard, it paid off. The idea of a persistent online world meant that new players would want to get the game to play with their friends, so in the first year, World of Warcraft had more than 1 million subscribers, and it only kept going up. By the end of 2007, with the release of the first big expansion, The Burning Crusade, the game had a massive 8.5 million players, which meant Blizzard was earning more than $100 million every month. World of Warcraft had become a global phenomenon, popularizing the MMO genre and spawning an entire line of imitators and knockoffs. The game's popularity peaked around 2011 with about 13 million subscribers, and since then it's maintained a loyal base of players. Blizzard plans to keep it going for years and even decades to come. Would you look at that? Mondo Blasto says Shadowlands expansion is out today. Who knew that? That's so cool. That's right. I see a lot of buds again on Facebook. I keep shouting out Facebook. From the games biz that are playing World of Warcraft still. Are you guys, anybody still playing World of Warcraft out there? It's amazing. It's amazing that it's been around for so long. It's also amazing that I can watch when I screw up in real time. You guys there's a whole stream of twins. There's 2 Vics. Oh my God. This is all live. And I had two video copies in there, but it's interesting. It only played one of the video pieces. I guess it was buried underneath. But thanks for helping me out. This is awesome. It's cool to have all of the nervous tension of hosting something and all of the nervous tension of being an engineer and running the stream at the same time. Okay. I did play World of Warcraft, but only at the very beginning. I reviewed it with Tommy. I think we reviewed it at the Hoover Dam in Nevada. And it was amazing. It was too big of a game for us to really sort of understand where it was all going. And you guys know my deal. I can't play these things forever because I got to move on to the next thing so I can come back and talk about it. And we are going to talk about Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity in a second. But right now, I think it's important for us to have a little discussion about the holidays. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to break this down, the gift guides, over the next few days with PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. And then maybe something sort of PC related, but then also, sort of miscellaneous gamer gifts and ideas for different things out there. Maybe use PC and VR. Haven't quite figured all that out because we do a lot of stuff live these days. But let's start talking about the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. And what I did is I broke it down into basically a few first fives, different ideas. And I think what I want to do is first give another shout out to PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus. I think that if you are looking for a gift idea for a PlayStation fan out there, this is a pretty good safe bet because they're likely not going to purchase their own PlayStation Now subscription, and that's a nice gift to receive. So that's like a collection of titles, mostly archival titles or back catalog titles that you can pick up and start playing immediately if you stream them, or you can download them to your PlayStation 4 or your PlayStation 5. And your PlayStation Plus gives you online access, and of course what you can do is you can bank that time. So if they've already got a PlayStation Plus account, they can jump in and add some extra time to it. And these are costs that are taken care of, and they also deliver a bunch of benefits in terms of game software as well. You only get a couple of freebies a month from PlayStation Plus, but you get a ton of games to choose from PlayStation Now. So that's what I would say is a good safe bet for any PlayStation gamer on either machine, either PS4 or PS5, and at any age. And now what I want to do is break in some other categories. And I thought there's some PlayStation 4 titles that are essential plays, whether you play them on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. And I thought I would list these out for you. These are exclusives that Sony has paid for that you can only play them on PlayStation. Well, there's PC involved now. It's all getting confusing. But the thing there's a caveat here. Almost all of these games that I'm going to talk about are mature rated, and they're really violent, and it can be a little bit too much, too heavy, especially for younger players. So if you are buying something for a family member or a nephew or a niece, or keep in mind that this next roundup of games isn't for every single age. One of them is, though. All right. I'm calling these the essentials. And so at number 5, I would say Horizon Zero Dawn. This is an M-rated game as well. I'm pretty sure it is. But it's not especially gory or violent. You do get into some combat with humans, which can be a little bit severe. But it's not like you're not hacking limbs off. It's not super, super crazy. A lot of the action in this game, this beautiful action RPG, is all about fighting these mechanical creations and then taming them and riding them. It's a gorgeous game. It looks amazing on either PS4, PS4 Pro, or on PlayStation 5. It's all up-res, and I think there's going to be some enhancements coming to that as well. For number 4 in the Essentials collection, I would say Ghost of Tsushima. This is a beautiful, massive undertaking from Sucker Punch with exquisite art direction and unbelievable action. I think it's the gameplay that really sold it on me. Obviously, it's very violent. There's a lot of hacking and slashing, but it's just really fun. It's just it's gorgeous, but it's like thumb candy. It's so addictive and enjoyable to play. You feel so stealthy and sneaky and competent, and it's gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful game. Ghost of Tsushima is definitely on this list for me. At number 3, I wanted to add in The Last of Us Part 2. Now, this is not a game for everybody. This is not even a game for every fan of The Last of Us Part 1, but I think this is one of the most harrowing and gorgeous and meticulously crafted video game experiences I've ever encountered in my life. I was riveted from start to finish. There's a lot of layers and a lot of nuance in the storytelling, but it's brutal, and it might not be the happiest holiday gift. At number 2, I would say God of War has got to be on this list. This is an exceptional sort of case of taking an action experience and infusing it with a lot of really developed storytelling and, characters that you really care about. There's a morose quality, a somber quality, but it is also spectacularly action-packed and just filled with, unforgettable moments and experiences. And, of course, the sequel is coming to the PlayStation 5, I think is it coming next year? We'll see about that. I think that might be delayed. But God of War 2 is number 1. You can probably guess my number 2. You can probably guess my number 1. Too late. It's Spider-Man. This was out in 2018. It was our game of the year. This is the Peter Parker Spider-Man. And of course, things are a little murkier now because we have more than one Spider-Man on PlayStation. But this was just a tour de force from Insomniac. Again, it's addictive and crazy, crazy enjoyable with amazing storytelling, movie quality visuals, and you're playing them. And the thing that's really impressive about Spider-Man is that it sort of dovetails into to the cinematic Spider-Man experience that we have these days. But then you can go home and be Spider-Man and play Spider-Man, which blew me away then, blows me away now as I'm playing the remastered edition. Now, my next category for the gift guide ideas is for games that came out in 2020, and most of these I think all of them are playable on the PlayStation 4, but also on the PlayStation 5. Persona 5 Royal came out earlier this year, an unbelievably deep and fulfilling role-playing experience, Japanese role-playing experience. It's quirky, it's filled with really interesting and memorable and funny characters. There's some darkness and some heavy elements to this kind of high school on steroids storytelling that's happening, but you're completely addicted to the gameplay loops in it, and also you just want to see what next level visual stimulation the developers have put together for this title. It's an incredible game. Number 4, I've got this is Star Wars Squadrons, which I didn't put PSVR into the little subject header there, but this is an excellent PlayStation VR game, which you can play on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. PS5 is going to be getting some enhancements into this title, I think, with lighting and stuff and visual effects. It's just a gorgeous, easy-to-play simulation, flying through space, taking out bad guys. EA's got a big hit on their hands, so they're adding new content to it, even though there was some, question about whether they would or not, but they're filling it with lots and lots of enjoyable elements. And what's really key here is there's also a really deep single-player story, which is a lot of fun to play with cool characters to get to know, and it's just sheer joy. Loved playing Star Wars Squadrons. Number 3 is Final Fantasy VII Remake, which came out this year, and it's a gorgeous, redesign of what has been one of the most seminal role-playing experiences in video game history, Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation 1. It's a remarkable achievement because you're dealing with fantastic new mechanics in terms of combat and all the magic wielding and all the cool abilities that the characters have. There's all new voice work and really beautiful cutscenes, which Square Enix is famous for. And it also deviated quite a bit. So, if you know all of the details from the original, you're going to have a lot of really nice, tasty surprise. This is an awesome experience. And number 1 is going to be no surprise. Or number 2, sorry, I'm jumping the gun, is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. This completely rocked my world when I played it. It has all of the classic soundtrack and the classic skaters that have been aged up, which is just incredible. This blew our minds a little more than 20 years ago, and it continues to blow our minds in 2020. You have the ability to skate through all of the parks in 1 and 2, and you unlock characters and outfits for your characters, and there's also the ability to craft your own levels and stuff, which don't look quite as good as the ones that the developers of Vicarious Visions put together. But it's all about the 60 frames per second, exquisite, tactile, wonderful gameplay. Very, very hard to put down, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. And number 1, Spider-Man is back, but this is the different Spider-Man. This is Miles Morales, again, with a really cool family sort of focused story about Miles's upbringing and his, the relationships that he has with his friends and some of the, the tragedy that he's also dealing with and the doubts that he has as this new emerging hero. Some interesting storytelling and interesting characters throughout, but, exquisite action sequences, fantastic fights, and it's absolutely stunning at 60 frames per second, with all the bells and whistles on the PlayStation 5. And it totally lives up to the first Spider-Man as well. It's arguably just as fun with maybe more tuned gameplay because Insomniac has had time to, work with their engine. And of course, one of the major things that they did is they completely changed the look and feel of Peter Parker. But I like it. I think it's great, and I can't get enough of Miles Morales. Again, it's just like in 2018 where I finished, the Marvel Spider-Man, and I kept going back to it and looking at every nook and cranny and just became obsessed with it. And I can't wait for more. I hope that Insomniac doesn't make us wait too long for more Spider-Man. And then finally, I have the sort of my first 5 gift ideas for those lucky few out there that happen to have snagged a PlayStation 5 for the holidays. So the first thing out of the gate is Astro's Playroom is included on every PlayStation 5. So this is not really a gift idea. It's just you got to remember to tell the people that get this console to not just throw in all the software that they get with the machine, but to play this one, because this game is amazing. It's so addictive and charming, and it's a love letter to all eras of the PlayStation, and it shows off what the DualSense controller can do in some beautiful ways, and you've got a smile on your face, and you're, engaged and entertained by the ingenuity the whole way through. At number 5, I've got a couple of games here, actually. You can take a couple of choices. The reason why I wanted to include Sackboy: A Big Adventure is not so much that it's the most, insane single-player experience, but it's a great cooperative game. It's a lot of fun to play with somebody else, and I noticed that right away. It's very cute. It's very accessible. Puzzles and all of the mechanics and stuff, you've kind of seen that kind of gameplay before, but it's tuned and polished. But then you can play everything with somebody else, which is important. And there's also a degree of customization available to you, and everything runs at 60 frames per second. But really, truly, it's the multiplayer elements of the game that really stand out. Really, really lovely to play with somebody else. But I would counter that with the option to pick up Dreams, which is from Little Big Planet and Sackboy's creators, Media Molecule. This is a game that allows you to create games, which may be a bit much. My daughter has not been so enthused to jump into the editor here and try to figure it out. It's not simple, and maybe not as simple as Media Molecule would want us to know about it, but the complexities of it allow the people that have the patience and the talent to create incredible experiences for us. And of course, that's what you can get with Dreams. You can just keep playing forever, which, I like that tagline. Number 4 is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is absolutely stunning. I'm playing it, truthfully, on the Xbox Series X, not on the PlayStation 5, but I know they're very comparable. Thank you, Digital Foundry. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous adventure. It's set throughout England, but also you get some stuff in Norway as well. Beautiful lighting, beautiful architecture, incredible costumes and character designs, and epic battles, and lots of raids that you can go on, lots of wildlife to tackle. There's, of course, some Norse mythology infused in the game. Exquisite experience. Number 3 for me, I didn't change the title on this, for PlayStation 5 is NBA 2K21. This is the next-gen version of NBA 2K21. I mean, this is just a staggering accomplishment. I can't believe that Visual Concepts made an excellent PlayStation 4 basketball game and an even more excellent PlayStation 5 basketball game. It sucks that you can't just upgrade. This is one you actually have to buy again, but you can see that they didn't scrimp on the visual fidelity and the additions to this. When you pull the camera back, it can feel similar to what PS4 delivered, but they intentionally, the default camera is close because they want to show you all the detail that they put into it. Gorgeous game. Number 2 on PlayStation 5 is the PS5 version of Miles Morales, which runs in a performance mode at 60 frames per second, and you lose a little bit of the ray tracing, which is all the beautiful detailed reflections and stuff that you'll see in the windows and the shiny surfaces of the game. But it's better in 60 frames per second, except when you've got the Into the Spider-Verse costume, which kind of adjusts the way the frame rate happens anyways, and then you can juice it in 30 frames and you get all the ray tracing, and it's just staggering. Beautiful, beautiful game. But number 1 on PlayStation 5, and this might surprise some of you because I'm no good at it, but I certainly love it and I appreciate it, and this game moves me, man. Like when I play it, I get physical. I'm screaming, I'm howling, and I'm smiling and laughing and crying. It's every emotion. It's a gorgeous game. Demon's Souls is just a staggering accomplishment from Blue Point, and obviously it's the first of the kind of the Souls roguelite experiences, and it's wonderful. Again, though, that's an M-rated game. It's not for everybody. I should have put all of the different ESRBs up there, but I was running out of time. But what I would say to any parents, definitely do a little research. Don't just go by my gift guide ideas and say, oh, this is great. This Demon's Souls will be great for my 9-year-old. Don't do that. be a little bit choosier with the appropriateness for the software that you get. Be engaged with it. If there's one thing that 2020 has taught us is that holy crap, is there fun video game entertainment for us to play together and to know about and to pick the right software for the right occasion. And PlayStation actually, commendably, they've got a launch library for PlayStation 5 that is very kid friendly. It's totally cool for a younger person to play Miles Morales or Sackboy. Definitely Astro's Playroom, and then you can dig into the back catalog and pick up stuff like Dreams and stuff. But so there you go. There's a nice little package of gift ideas for the PlayStation player in your life. So happy shopping. Okay, we are going to jump into a little discussion. I'm not quite ready to give it the full, scored review, but I have been playing quite a bit of it. I think I'm like 7 or 8 hours of this already. I'm talking about Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. I worked with Nintendo to give a copy of this away and some stuff last week, which was really fun. But this is a game that takes place 100 years before the events of The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, which is my favorite game of all time. And it picks up on a lot of the mechanics and a lot of the ways that the Hyrule Warriors game did on Wii U, and then they made a special edition of it for Nintendo Switch as well, which is about the 1 versus 1,000 kind of ethos of Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors that we've seen in lots and lots of games, too many games, as a matter of fact, where you've got a protagonist or a small group of protagonists, and you are basically battling hordes and hordes and hordes of enemies. And there is something incredibly joyous about that, and it's quite impressive to see the amount of carnage. You see all the bodies sort of flying all over the place that you are contending with, and that's super fun. I'm gonna basically give you the things that have bugged me so far about playing Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. One of them is the frame rate. Sometimes there is too much stuff that's happening on screen, whether you're in, on one of the divine beasts or you're in the midst of this epic scale battle and there's just so much carnage. Sometimes it gets a little bit choppy. It doesn't have the freeform and freedom that clearly Breath of the Wild did, because it's a different type of game. So it is strange to run up to a mountain and you can bounce off of the mountain and pull out the hang glider for a second, or some other sort of device that one of the other characters has to sort of float for a little bit. But you can't scale everything, and there are lots of invisible walls. And anybody that's been watching me review video games for a long time knows that invisible walls are my nemesis. But there are lots of them in here, and it's really kind of maze-like. The whole idea is you follow along in a maze, and you get to the choke point, which is all the enemies and the boss that you got to defeat, and then you get the loot, and then you get to carry on and sort of rinse and repeat that. So it's frame rate and it's invisible walls and the sort of funneling kind of mechanic that you knew you were in for. And the other thing is, of course, we're dealing with hundreds and hundreds, and you're rewarded when you get to 100 enemies killed, or 200 or 500. You see the little blips on screen. So that means you're going to see a ton of bad guys out there, and they pop on and they appear out of nowhere and they disappear. So those are my major issues. Like I can understand them all. I can contend with it. The fact that you can take this massive game and play it portably, although we're all stuck at home, so I'm playing it on the big screen, and it still looks great, and it definitely evokes the majesty and the mystery of Breath of the Wild, and it sort of embellishes the lore in some interesting and fun ways. I like the fact that you can bounce between characters as well, so you can play as Link and you can play as Zelda. Link's got blade weapons and spear weapons and a bow and arrow, and Zelda's got the Sheikah Slate. You can play as Impa, who's got these dagger moves and these cool magic attacks. Then you can find a Goron chief and a Zora. I think the Zora queen. What's her name? Mimpa? I forget. You can be the bird warrior, like all the characters. I can't remember all their names right now, but you can find them all across the map. You get this huge vista of Hyrule, and you're bouncing from, massive engagement to massive engagement, and you collect all the loot, and you can then open up all kinds of stores across the map. And that, isn't Zelda-like, where you're actually traversing there and you're having conversations and stuff. That sort of happens in the menu screens. And so what you're doing is you're basically unlocking stores in the map, and you can select them in the map and then, fuse weapons together to make more powerful weapons, or provide the ingredients to make a nice stew. So you're not really physically cooking. Otherwise, that would be another Zelda game, and that isn't really what this is. This is a Dynasty Warriors / Hyrule Warriors type of experience, and there's nothing wrong with that. It still ends up becoming really, really fun. But the core meat of the gameplay, which is stitched together with really lovely cut sequences and gorgeous music and lots of production that evokes everything that you love about the Zelda universe, especially Breath of the Wild. And the combat is really fun. There's a lot of, strategic sort of moves that you can pull off. You can switch between characters on the fly, and you can order characters to go to specific areas on the engagement map so that they can accomplish specific things, like, attacking a boss over on the right side of the map while you're off chasing an objective on the left side of the map, which is really cool. So all of that stuff is great, but the core meat of the gameplay is you are hacking and slashing through hordes and hordes and hordes of bad guys. You also have this cute little robot that comes along with you, and you're going to see, lots of cameos and, character beats and moments that just fill your heart, because if you're like me, you love Breath of the Wild, so it's so cool to kind of see the mirror of it, to go back in time and to see all of this stuff. It's not quite the prequel that we hope maybe Nintendo may make one day. I mean, we've got Breath of the Wild 2 coming, which is pretty amazing because they don't normally make sequels to their Zelda experiences, but we all can't wait for that. I think that this is it's a gorgeous love letter to Breath of the Wild. It's not at that quality bar, but it's definitely the best of these. I know that there's a name for it, like Musu or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it. I've never said it out loud. I know that it's the best of these. 1 versus a million kind of combat experiences that I played, mostly because I adore the license and the world building and the crafting that Nintendo did for Breath of the Wild that has now been employed here. Is it Musu? Yes, it is. Samayam 111 is the term for the Koei Tecmo Warriors games. Muso. So thank you, Samayam 111. So yeah, I really dig it, and I'm still playing it, and I'll come back with some final thoughts on my experience with it, but I recommend it, and I think that if you're a fan of Zelda, and even if you've never played any of these Dynasty Warriors games, I think you're probably better off if you've never played them. I think you'll be like, wow, this is fun, this is so cool, look at all these characters. I've played a million of them, and there was a period where it felt like we were reviewing one of those things like every week, and I think it was Scott Jones and I we were trapped under Dynasty War, like an ocean of Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games. We're like, holy mackerel, how many of these can they make? They made a lot, but this is different because it's all Zelda. Charlie Ward is in there with a super chat. Hey, Vic, just wanted to show some support. Any plans for you to do any more Polymega videos in the future? Keep up the great videos and live streams to the channel. Absolutely, Charlie. Thank you so much, man. That's really kind. And it's in pounds, so you must be in the UK. So thank you for joining us from overseas. And yes, I am absolutely going to have Brian Burnell from, or maybe other members from the Polymega team, the PlayMaj team, back on the stream. I want to do a live interview because obviously they just announced that they've had some retail issues, and there's been some delays that have happened around Polymega, and I think that a lot of people are getting theirs in 2021. I don't know if enough have been manufactured so that people will get them for this holiday. But I still contest it's an amazing platform. I'm going to stream more off of it. I just for the interview that I just did with the Midway folks, I used the Polymega extensively to record some footage that I needed to highlight specific moments in my interview. It's an incredibly fun and useful, and honestly, I've been playing all this next gen stuff and I love it. It's amazing. But there is this moment where it's just like, man, I wouldn't mind just slapping an old Saturn game in right now, or an old Super Nintendo. Like, just play something that isn't state of the art and like big and flashy, and the opening cut sequence takes me 45 minutes before I'm actually doing stuff. I am a huge fan of retro gaming, and I love that I'm interspersing it throughout all the other discussion that I get to do here on EP. So that was a long answer. The short answer is, yep, we'll have more on Polymega, and I'll have those guys on the show soon. Cool. Looking forward to more interviews with Brian Burnell. Me too. He's a good dude. Modesty Blaze says, love Breath of the Wild. Can't stand Muso games or laggy experiences. Need more Zelda, though. It's not too laggy. It's a little laggy. But, you sort of crest over the disappointment that it's not, especially when you're like, I've been looking at so much 60 frames per second stuff, and then I went to this, I was like, whoa, okay, we're almost at 30. But once you get over that, and you're getting into the midst of a combat, you're fighting like a big boss for a minute, or a few minutes, and you're bouncing between the characters, and you're, testing out the nuances of the engine. It was like, yeah, there's a lot of cool depth in here. There's a lot of fun in that game. I've really been addicted to it. It's super cool, and it's very different than the rest of the stuff that's out right now. Miso is food. Thank you. That was who said that? Somebody said that. It's popped. Bruce McClavey says, cheers. When can we get the end battle scene and end game in a video game? Oh, yes, Mr. Mass-Produced 201. That would be unbelievable, right? That's what we want from Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's Avengers would have been the game to give us that scene, probably, but that game is DOA. Oh, man, I don't want to write that off just yet. Just bought the Sega Genesis Mini to add to the collection. Grover Monster says. That's awesome. Let's see. I missed a couple of comments in here. Breath of the Wild or Spider-Man? Pick one, Vic. Breath of the Wild. That's a hard one, man. Breath of the Wild, but with web slinging. Could we make that happen? I think web slinging should be in way more games. I see someone saying Naughty Dog's games are too long, and I think that they don't have enough levels. I think it's the cinematics people feel make them long and get that confused with gameplay. Kraken Pines. Yeah, the storytelling is the... I just posted the interview on... It's an audio-only interview that I did with Amy Hennig, and we talked about gameplay and story, and... it's a fantastic interview because she's incredibly talented. Of course, if you don't know who Amy Hennig is, she is one of the co-creators of the Uncharted branch. She's one of the founding members of what we now know as the Naughty Dog brand. Like, she really took a lot of what she had learned working with studios like Crystal Dynamics and Electronic Arts, infused it with the technology and the power of storytelling that PlayStation 3 allowed when they crafted on the Uncharted series, and made it look easy, she and the team. But she said that, and I'm paraphrasing, she said that that storytelling and gameplay are one. They need to work together. And I think that's pretty true in a lot of the Naughty Dog games. Especially the first time through. Obviously, you're not surprised, you're not or shocked, as the case of Last of Us Part 2, if you try to play it again. But I think Naughty Dog, and now to an extent Sony Santa Monica and Sucker Punch and the Ben Studios, and all of these studios that Sony has got as a first party, it's almost like they've gone to Naughty Dog school, and there is this level of professionalism and it's like a blurry blend of playing through a moment or you're in a cut sequence, and because the fidelity is just getting so freaking good. And there were moments in Miles Morales where I was just watching the screen waiting for the cutscene to end, and I went, oh, I have control of, I'm in the game, I've got control of the character again. So yeah, I mean, you can be cynical about these things taking too long before your hands on the thumbs on the sticks and controlling everything, but I don't know, man. I think it's state of the art, that kind of that fusion and that crafting of story through game is just incredible. I love it. Shenmue was great for storytelling through gameplay, but also with cutscenes. Yeah, and I think there was a lot of learning from that. I think Shenmue was an incredibly influential title. It's amazing. Sometimes the sort of cult classics end up becoming the games that infiltrate the design of. I mean, look at what the Souls games did. There are so many games that you can play right now, and they weren't always as big as they were. You know, when Dark Souls came out, Demon Souls is a great example. It was a solid hit, but it wasn't like a phenomenon. But it has, infiltrated so many titles. That kind of design ethos, and it's like I've said this before about God of War, it borrows from the Souls stuff that From was working on. Are you a fan of MVG? He recently did a video of running GameCube emulation and more on the Xbox Series X. I talked about that in the rundown today, Charlie Ward. That's Modern Vintage Gamer. I've watched some of his videos for sure. I watch a lot of the retro stuff. I sometimes have, when I'm playing a game, and sometimes it's like traversing long periods of geography, like in Red Dead Redemption or something like that. Sometimes I have my phone playing some YouTube vids, and I've played some MVG stuff for sure. That's how I became a fan of GameSack and Digital Foundry. Actually, I'd be playing games, and I'd have them chatting about the breakdown of a classic system, or looking at an old E3 press conference and sort of dissecting it. It's fascinating stuff. There's so much good work out there. Thanks for the super chat, Charlie. You are amazing. True, God of War all the way. The first three were so damn good. Howdy, y'all. Wilden is here. Bradford says, I can't remember the particular game, but I remember SNES games that had long, very annoying cutscenes that you couldn't stop. You were forced to watch them. That happened a few times. I wonder if it was flashback like that. I can't remember if you could skip them. Winnipeg Gamer, hey Victor, how's it going? I can't remember which ones you couldn't skip, Bradford, but I can remember being pissed off when you couldn't skip cutscenes in 16-bit, especially because cutscenes weren't that beautiful back then. Oh man, you're amazing. Thank you, Charlie. Dragon's Dogma 2 has me super excited. There you go, Winnipeg. Love it. Let's see. Let me know if you are new to the streams, you guys. If this is the first Vic's Basement Live that you have watched, my name is Victor Lucas for you newbies out there, and I've been covering games for about 25 years through Electric Playground, which has been a TV show and an internet show for a long time. But I love seeing that new people just find our channel and are watching stuff for the first time. It's really cool. Even if I'm playing Demon's Souls on PS5, or is Dragon's Dogma totally different? Love the channel, Vic. Kevin Smitty, Dogma's different than Demon's Souls, for sure. Love the channel, Vic. New to the streams. Right on, Tim. Good to see you. Take it easy, Street Dreams. Hello, Vic. Coming from Regina, Saskatchewan, trying to keep warm watching the stream. Yes, it does get cold in the prairies. Good to see you, John O'Brother 03. And let's see. I'll be buying less new games with the $70 price tag. AYC Superbob. There could be an argument being made about any price increases happening to software right now to divert your attention to the attractive $9.99 or so monthly subscription price that allows you a whole bevy of games in the catalog. And that's where we're going, guys. I think buying software is going to become it's going to become more expensive. It's going to become a little bit more boutique. There's going to be a lot of limited run type companies out there because people want to. I mean, especially this year. It was already like digital was already creeping on physical, and they were getting neck and neck. Over the last few years, I'm sure this year digital has totally eclipsed physical, and the next thing is going to be monthly subscriptions. People are paying attention to what Disney Plus has been announcing and how much money Netflix has made, and these huge moves that HBO Max is doing and CBS All Access. All of the gaming companies are like, how do we do this? It's going to get interesting. Hey, Vic, any event you want to attend once this pandemic is over? I want to attend all of them. I miss all of it. I miss the gamer. We'd have like press junkets and stuff where we'd find out about games, like preview events, and get some hands-on events. Loved all those. I love going to Comic-Con. Toy Fair is always a blast in New York City. I'm a huge toy nerd, as you can tell. And E3, of course, and PAX. And also the interesting ones like Anime North, which I went to for the first time, I think, in 2018. And all of it. All of it. Good question, Peter W. I'm still getting games from the library. I hope physical doesn't die for that reason. Wayne McCracken. Well, that's probably not a bad idea, Wayne. I think that, there will probably be a new market for rentals of physical as more and more people, or as more and more companies kind of just, like, what was I just heard that. A game that's available only digitally. I can't remember what it was, but we hear this all the time. It's new soft. Oh, Doom Eternal on Nintendo Switch. It's only a digital game. You can't buy it physically. What was the main event at your first ever E3? Do I remember? Mitch H. Well, PlayStation had an amazing party, and Michael Jackson was at the party. It was on one of the Sony movie lots. We were all walking around, and Michael Jackson was there walking around, and it was surreal. I was about, I don't know, from me to the camera away from Michael Jackson at that thing, and it was like, well, I think video games are a huge deal. I think that there are going to be people all over the world paying attention to video games. If Michael Jackson is here at this party, things are going to get crazy. I remember, I think the Batman, what was the last one? Batman and Robin Batmobile was at E3. I think the first one. Acclaim had a huge booth. It was very loud. God, that's good. That's a good question. I remember that I was at the Tom Kalinske headed Sega conference where they said, you're going to be able to buy the Saturn tomorrow. And a lot of people were like, what? What are you doing? Because it wasn't the same infrastructure as it is now. And everybody was caught off guard. But Sega was really trying to get the Saturn out there before the PlayStation 1 arrived. I was also at the Steve Race-led PlayStation 1 press conference where he said, we're better than Sega, we're better than Nintendo, and our price was, I think, $299 for the PlayStation 1 when it launched, all of which got the whole audience to erupt in applause. I was at the Trip Hawkins-led 3DO press conference. We interviewed the Tramiel brothers about Atari stuff back then. I met Jeff Minter at the first E3. But I didn't interview George Lucas, but I met George Lucas at the first E3. And so all of that just blew my freaking mind. I met Tommy Tallarico and Dave Perry and Ed Boon and John Tobias. And it's interesting, right? Like I've met a ton of people that have become lifelong friends at that very first E3. And it really says something about the quality of people in the video game industry and the love that these people have for the video game industry. People may move around from positions, like we just saw the Alana Pierce is working at Sony now. She's kind of left the media world talking about video games, and now she's going to become a writer at Sony Santa Monica. So congratulations to Alana. But people tend to stay with this business. They tend to be here because they love it, and so consequently, I've made tons and tons of friends, over the years that I've known for forever, and I met a lot of those folks at the very first E3, which blows my mind. Okay. My favorite moment of E3 was security asking Scott Jones to leave. Fred Wicks. I don't know if that was E3 or Comic-Con. He was. I banished him from Comic-Con because he when we were shooting at one point, he kept saying Batman, 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 Batman. Like doesn't that annoy you? It annoys you just me doing that right now, right? Yeah, but he was doing that as we were rolling, and I was like, dude, you're not coming back. That's it. You do not respect Batman enough. You could not come back to this to Comic-Con. Okay. Alana is writing for God of War Ragnarok. That's so cool. Okay. let us play a little Tetris and Puyo Puyo 2 on Nintendo Switch. These two were brought together by Sega again. The first one, I think, was a Switch exclusive. But this new one is available for all the platforms. I'm just going to adjust the audio. So give me 1 second here. We'll go to boop. Looking okay? All right. Main menu. I'll turn the audio on in a second here. I just want to turn some stuff off here, if I can. No. I have not made any changes. I'm so happy. Okay. I don't think I can turn any audio off. Okay. That's all right. Let's jump in and we'll play the adventure mode. And I'm going to turn this down a bit, so let me know how the balance is. But let's jump in and play. You were expecting the spacey Tetris. I played a little bit of Tetris Effect Connected on Xbox Series X. I think tomorrow I'm going to do another live stream like this tomorrow. I'm going to stream a little bit more Xbox Series X stuff. I've been on PS5 because we got that a couple of days. Well, we got the Series X for 2 weeks before the PlayStation. So I've been PlayStation streaming a lot, and I haven't gone back to the Series X in a while. I think it's time to go and take a look at some of those games. And I do want to play more of the Tetris Effect Connected as well. But let's play a little bit of this. So let's check out the adventure and see what this is all about. Set auto difficulty to on. This auto. Okay. Here we go. Hey, Vic, do you think it would have been a smart move for Sony and Microsoft to delay the next-gen console a year to do more testing and also because of the pandemic? I don't think that would have been bad, and I don't think that it's bad that you can't get a PlayStation 5 or a Series X right now if you can't. But at the same time, this has been a hellaciously crappy year for a lot of folks. And the joy of a new $500 system or $700 in Canada after all the taxes and everything can't be discounted, you know, like especially for the holidays after a year like this. I think there's something to be said for the amount of joy that those machines are putting into the world in this year. I certainly feel like more exclusive software should have been available for Xbox at the launch, especially now having played Demon's Souls and Miles Morales on PlayStation 5, even though that's a PS4 game as well. I think Sackboy's on PS4 as well. But Demon's Souls, wow. But yeah, I think people are very happy that they have these new machines, and they should be. They're both amazing consoles. And they kind of, you know, especially with the 4K stuff, like the Pro and the X, sort of the midpoint refresh on the consoles opened the door to the promise of 4K, but I really can't believe how good my TV is now, because I've got one of those OLEDs that I bought when the Pro came out. It's like, I can't play these 4K games on not a 4K TV. Let me get a good TV and play them on there. But I feel like now the 5 and the Series X are like, this is what your TV can do, you know? It's pretty cool. Okay, so peaceful and quiet.
I could just, actually.
I think it's less than that, Herbert. It might be 70 for the... I'm talking about Miles Morales. I've talked about this. It is a really, really rich and deep experience. And once you beat the story, there's still lots to explore and do. Like, they gave you all of Manhattan to explore. And it's just freaking awesome to play. Like, it's just really, really fun to play. And it's a showpiece for the new tech on the PS5. So... We talked about this on the stream before. I don't mind that it's a shorter game when it's that kind of experience and that kind of quality. But I want more, which isn't a bad thing for a video game to, you know, leave you feeling. What's happening?
Ouch! Where am I?
Where am I? Let's go auto on so I can drink my tea.
Well, can't say I expected something like this. Hey, Mr. Tight Clothes Skydiver, are you okay? Beep. Oh, hey there, little yellow guy.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks. Captain's report. We've been summoned here by the Keeper of Dimensions. X.
I'm with you, Charlie Ward. 60 frames. That's what I've been playing Spidey at. I honestly, my thought on the 60 frame stuff is, we are in this next generation. We knew we wanted to target 60 frames. Why can't we have 4K and 60 frames on these new machines? And is that now the target that we're going to want to have? Because Assassin's Creed gets to that, Valhalla, and it's amazing when it does. And it, you know, it the resolution kind of scales as you go. But shouldn't I almost feel like these new machines shouldn't have a performance versus fidelity mode. I feel like we should get fidelity at 60 frames per second, sometimes 120 frames per second. And I really hope that's what second gen of development means for Series X and for PlayStation 5, which I know is asking a lot, but I mean, we're starting at 4K 60 esque right now. It would be great to on some stuff. It would great to that would be the floor. It would great to get to that point. That is the floor. Every game has to come in and target that, and see some software exceed it. Jim Jones, been a huge fan since the G4 days. Glad to have found your streams, and it's awesome to see you still in the industry. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for being here, man. Yep, I like I was saying about my E3 memories. People don't leave this business. It's amazing, and I was nervous making the move to YouTube, but people picked up on it right away, and it's been fun to kind of utilize this platform and test my skills and learn some new things on a regular basis, and it has always been fun, and it continues to be, even in this ridiculous year. Okay, let's play. Thank you for the super chat, brother. That's very kind. And for watching us over the years. It's wicked. Okay, here we go. So it's Puyo Puyo versus Tetris. Oh my. Not just this gen, but all generations, to keep a timeless gaming experience, companies should always target 60 frames over graphics and resolution. 60 frames for life, 100%, Charlie. Once you have a taste of that, it's like, why did we settle? And that's one of the great things about retro stuff, is so much of that was 60 frames per second. It was just the de facto way. Obviously much simpler games, but it was really weird to go from Spider-Man Miles Morales to Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. It was like, wow, okay. It's never been so clear. And it's almost like what the PC Master Race have been saying forever, like they've got the horsepower to run their software the way that they want to. And the consoles are incredible for their ease of use, but yeah, there's been some concessions made, and this is a big year for people to notice that kind of stuff. I'd be really interested to see the stats on how people are playing Miles Morales or Spider-Man Remaster on PS5. Are they playing it in fidelity or performance? Because I think that information is really going to be a big part of the way that Sony's development goes from here on out. And I don't know if you've played Ghost of Tsushima on PS5, but it's another revelation, because they boosted up to 60 frames per second as well. Oh, I've got a plan for the. I'll tell you guys. I'll be. I haven't figured out where you can send me the videos, but I think I haven't quite figured out what all the different categories are going to be for the Rocket and Ray Gun Awards this year. But what I want to do is some level of. We're going to do it live, because that seems to be the thing these days. But I also want to create a montage of video clips from people, and you're welcome to contribute, of a gaming memory from 2020. You know, like a positive thing about this year, that a game that you remember about playing something. And I think that's what I want in video form from you guys and from some of my friends across the media landscape out there. It's not so much that I need to hear what their favorite game for each category is. I want to have a collection of great memories and moments that people have celebrated this year. So if you want to shoot a video, shoot it 16:9, so shoot it this way, landscape. And you could use your phone, just be in a non-echoey place, see your eyes, and keep it short, 30 seconds, and maybe a minute. But and I don't know where you're going to send it yet. Maybe you post it to your YouTube page and you stick it under our Facebook page, or you can message us on Electric Playground, facebook.com/Electric Playground. But I think that'll be cool. And if I can collect a bunch of those, I can scatter them throughout the week of us talking about the best of 2020. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So true, Vic. The biggest 60 frames achievement I always think about is stuff like 4-player split-screen F-Zero GX. They actually remove background elements in order to keep the frame rate up. Incredible, Charlie. Amazing, right? Battling COVID and the family needing good vibes. Oh, brother, Evil One. Man.
And I wasn't half bad myself.
You've seriously got my good vibes out there, man.
What were those squishy
I don't know the details, but I hope everybody is okay. Obviously we're all connecting with people that are going through this right now, and it's brutal. The one positive light is that there's more information now than there was in the spring, and some of these therapeutics seem to be working to a degree. And the tough thing now is that the medical industry is getting overwhelmed, and the cases are crazy. So I don't know where you live, Evil One, but I hope wherever you are the hospitals are sort of under control right now, and I hope everybody is okay. It's brutal.
Allow me to properly introduce myself.
Yeah.
Captain T of the
That's the reality, right? That's 2020. That's why I want to make our awards this year partially about honoring the stuff that's entertained us, but also the stuff that's gotten into our minds and our hearts, the stuff that's been like the real memories. I'm going to bounce out of the story here because I'm not paying attention. And we'll just play a little solo, and we'll just do a little verses. Sure, battle. Oh, we can do. Let's do 3 CPU. Charlie, thank you so much for the super chats. Incredible, man. Very generous today, and I appreciate it, man. It's really, really cool. And it's clear that you're a fan of retro stuff, and you're a fan of blistering speed as much as I am. And F-Zero needs to come back, and it would be great to see stuff like that on I think Mario Kart 8 did 60 frames, though, in a beautiful way, So there's no reason why we couldn't have a new F-Zero run at 60 frames per second on the current Switch. But imagine a new F-Zero on a new enhanced Switch. That's music to my ears.
You're facing me.
Evil One, take care out there, man. Seriously. Hugs and love to your fam, and I hope everybody is okay. I'm sure all of us are, know folks or have folks in our family that are going through some heavy crap this year, and I know that, and I feel for you, and I feel for this world, man. At least we've got good news about vaccines on the way. Hopefully there will be good news about how it all gets disseminated and we all take it and we're all fine. And next year, this is a rear view mirror kind of thing, We need some changes. Damon Croy, 95 success rate for the one they're working on. has a higher rate than the flu shot, so I hope it becomes available in Canada. I've heard that in Canada, one of them, they've already secured tens of millions of doses. So, the one thing to remember about all this, and I talk about this with my family all the time, is that the whole world is in this together. We're all in it together. It doesn't matter where you live or who you are or what you do. You know, COVID has touched all of our lives. And it's amazing. Like, the lessons and the memories of this year, we're never going to forget this. And I hope that we're a lot smarter and a lot quicker to act next time. Let's have some fun. Right on, Evil. Charlie, yes, I am Canadian. I'm based in Vancouver. Oh wow, sparkling cyanide. That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, some of the doses are going to start going out next month. I've lost. I don't know if you can chat and play games like this. You have to pay attention right from the beginning. I'm bad. Oh no. What do you guys like better, Tetris or Puyo Puyo? I know, that's a hard one. That's a hard question, I know. They're both awesome, right? They're both so fun, and they're different, but, you know, clearly Puyo Puyo would not exist without Tetris. We got a vote for Tetris. Dr. Mario's in there. Yeah, another classic. Yeah, gravity-based puzzlers, huge genre. It's pretty. Oh, I came in second. Puzzle Fighter. Vic, are you going to do a top 5 games of the 8th generation? So that's last gen, just so I'm clear. I definitely need to do some more edited pieces. I've been missing doing that. I just haven't had the time with all the stuff launching at the same time, which is what happens at the end of the year. So yes, I want to do more feature type pieces like that. I have a blast when I put some effort into kind of packaging all that stuff up, and that would be really fun. I actually wanted to do here are the best things that happened for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, but this next gen just came in and drowned me and swamped me in things to talk about. I guess I talked a little bit about that in the gift guide today, though. All right, here we go. Uh-oh. Oh. Okay, I gotta pay attention. I'm gonna win this one. Oh no! Oh, I'm totally not going to win this one. Small box in the top left. This thing? This is the Vectrex. Hanagumi Taizan Columns 2 equals best puzzle game ever. What machine is that for, Charlie Ward? And thank you. That's right, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. That's right, Sam I Am 111. I bought that. I paid $50 for that cartridge back then. Oh man, Herbert Barton's got his OG gray brick Game Boy right beside him. So Tetris, awesome. I sometimes wish that Nintendo would bring the Game Boy back as a brand. Give me a second, you guys. I have to check my... there was a potential shoot that I may have to do, so I just want to check my emails here and see if I got a question about that. I don't like to do this on the stream, but I'm just going to double check here. We're good. So I can play for another 10 minutes. All right. So let's do a different game here. Let's see. So we have. Should I try multiplayer? Oh, you can only do single screen, so they can't get on. Oh, you can get online. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. There we go. These next-gen graphics are so colorful. You know what? This is a... what's Puzzle League? Battle head-to-head players from around the world. Your matches will affect your ranking, sure. It's this is a good lesson, that fun gameplay. Oh, wow, cool. So Puyo Puyo League and Tetris League. I've been playing 2 Puyo, so let's play a little Tetris. Let's see how I do. I'm going to go rookie. Let's see. Find an opponent. Let's go. It's games like this that really kind of showcase that you don't have to be, state of the art to have really, really fun games and have a great time. Colin McDonald, I did hear about Deadpool 3. I mean, I heard that it's going forward. Was there anything new that has come out apart from Disney's going forward with it? I think, is Ryan Reynolds going to direct it as well, or is he writing it? Have I heard about the live-action Rugrats movie that's supposedly releasing on January 21st? No, I have not. Rugrats, I never watched it. Fired up for Deadpool. I also know that I think through Grace Randolph was talking about that Disney's going to have like a sort of a adults or mature rated content on Disney Plus. So they're going to get into that stuff. It's going to get very interesting, right? And very competitive. HBO Max throwing up Wonder Woman on December 25th. That's a real commitment to some, A-list content out there. And then I just heard that Warner Brothers is seriously, I don't think there's anybody playing this right now. So I just heard that Warner Brothers is seriously considering a Justice League 2 and 3, but in the style of more television type content, more kind of HBO style content. So Zack Snyder might be making more. Let's do what's Party? More Justice League, but it will be kind of like a Game of Thrones-esque, getting close to an R-type rating on these superhero stories as part of his dark, superhero universe. Items appear, intensifying the action. Players will have infinite lives. Let's try that. Sure. Here we go. Modesty Blaze, Astro's Playroom proves it's not all about real-life graphics. Most fun I've had for ages. It's an amazing game. And if you have PlayStation VR, the Astro Rescue Bot game on that machine is staggering. It's so good. Sure. My kid's going to dig this. Speaking of checking things out and WoW being mentioned in Rundown Lite, reminded me how Henry Cavill missed Zack Snyder's first phone call for Superman because Cavill was playing a World of Warcraft raid. That's funny. I like how down to earth that guy kind of like. He is a true nerd, which I like that about Henry Cavill for sure. Benno Avenor is not a fan of Zack Snyder. Yeah, this is going to be really telling if people are not fans of Justice League, because this has been a lot more than just a director's cut, man. Like, the guy's gotten lots of money to kind of refashion everything. I am excited to see it, though. Truthfully, I didn't hate the first movie. Oh, how do I restart this thing again? Start over. Okay. I didn't hate the what's the guy's name? Oh, I'm blanking on the director's name. The Joss Whedon, remade stuff. I mean, it felt kludgy and there were problems for sure, but there was also some. I'm a big DC fanatic from way back, so there was a huge Batman nerd. So there was some fun stuff in the. What eventually made it to the theaters. Like, it blew my mind that we got a Justice League movie. So I didn't have a terrible time with that movie at all. But I really hope that all of this effort in the Zack Snyder film pans out. Oh, I see. It's a battle, so they're throwing things down on me. I was like, why is this happening so fast? Watchmen is the only Zack Snyder movie that I truly like. He did 300, didn't he? Well, this is cool. Zack Snyder and Sin City, I mean, Zack Snyder's done some good stuff. Wisperience, next you're going to tell me that water is wet. Oh, I do think that now is maybe not the right time for dark superheroes. Like, now would be the perfect time for almost like the Silver Age of DC, you know? Like, family-friendly Batman and not necessarily where he's the Dark Knight in daylight, but and not 60s Adam West stuff, but you know what I'm saying. A little bit lighter. Maybe animated series type. Still one of the best interpretations of the Cape Crusader ever. Uh-oh. This is fun. Didn't know what the heck was going on there for a bit. My wife and I just bought a Switch for ourselves and as early combined Christmas player, top 2 player Switch games for new Switch owners. Oh my goodness. I'm going to say that your message, Matt, your question, was the reason why I'm doing so poorly. I'm going to use that as my excuse. The Switch is loaded with fun multiplayer experiences. Top 2, the top one, well, Mario Kart, you've got that already. What are some surprising ones? Overcooked. Those games are amazing, but watch out. The fights may start. This is super fun. I'm going to play some more of this, and I'll have some follow-up thoughts on this, but this is super fun. Maybe I'll be bringing this up in my my Nintendo gift guide. But thank you to Sega for shipping me out the review code for this and the stream code for this. This is Tetris. It's Puyo Puyo and Tetris. Hold on, what's the real title? It's Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, the ultimate puzzle match. Yoshi's Crafted World is just a masterpiece. Just a masterpiece. Doesn't matter what age you are with that game. It is just so beautifully done. Incredible game. Actually, you know what? I've got my Switch right here. Let's go through some of this stuff here. 2-player games. This is for Matt. Let's see. There's some 2-player stuff in Pikmin 3. Gorgeous experience. I haven't played NBA 2K21 yet on the Switch. I really want to. And Hades is single player. Streets of Rage 4 is awesome on Switch, and it has a great multiplayer experience in there. This is I don't know what. Let's see. Let's go by title, I guess, is the easiest one. I've got a pretty big memory card on here, so I've got a lot of games. Let's see. Broforce is a blast. Excellent multiplayer game. Cuphead, 2-player. Fantastic. Also incredibly tough and a little bit easier. I love Wargroove. Wargroove is awesome, Charlie. Great game. I've got it on this, as a matter of fact. Let's see. Luigi's Mansion has got some multiplayer stuff. I haven't really dug into that. Oh, Ultimate Alliance 3 is awesome multiplayer experience on Nintendo Switch. Monkey Barrels has got a pretty fun multiplayer experience in there, too. I'm kind of envious that you're a brand new Switch owner. Lots of good stuff. I recommend picking up the Sega Genesis Classics because that's I think you can get it. It's usually on sale, and you get a whole bunch of games in that collection, which is pretty rad. So lots of classic things. And if you get the online service, the Nintendo Switch Online, you get Super Nintendo games and NES games, which is excellent. Trine 4's got some multiplayer in it. I'm sure I passed over tons. You're going to get lots and lots of good ideas in here. And there the folks at Platinum just reached out and said that there's a Bayonetta a model or little character in Wonderful 101, and that's coming. So it's coming. Evil One, this is my collection. This is what I do. I review games. So I check out a lot of games. I think I've done video content on almost everything in here. I was actually, when I was talking with Tim Kitzrow, he does the voice for Mutant Football League, and that is a super fun, crazy arcade football experience. That's just crazy over the top. It's also M-rated because it's so violent. Okay. So yeah, that's a show. That was a lot of talking. Hope you guys had some fun. I will be back tomorrow with another Vic's Basement, and we will do another gift guide. I don't know if I'm going to do Xbox or Switch. I'll figure that out in the morning. But stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter at Victor_Lucas. You make sure you follow the Electric Playground Facebook page. That's where we're going to be doing our contests and notifications and stuff. EP Daily TV is us on Twitter. I'm Batwing on Instagram if you want to check me out there. I should have all of this as titles. Maybe I'll think of that. But listen, thank you so much for being here today. I love doing this, and I love that you're all here to join me for this. Thank you to the Super Chatters. You guys are incredibly kind and generous. I hope anybody that's going through any struggles right now with COVID or other stuff is doing okay. Obviously, we're entering into the holidays, and sometimes I can drum up all kinds of weird emotional heaviness. So reach out and talk with people, okay? Just take care of yourselves and be smart. Wear a mask when you're outside, okay? For me, will you do that? And please ask everybody that you know to wear a mask when they're outside. We're going to get through this. The light is at the end of the tunnel. And, there's going to be lots of fun things to talk about through the next several weeks. And I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Vic's Basement Live. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you soon. And until then, play forever.